Alright, this is a screencast of reading tools and how to utilize your PDF version of Fahrenheit 451 that you've been given. So just quickly looking at the reading tools that we talked about in class. When you are reading, these are things that you should be trying to do actively in your mind, and you will actually be post-it noting electronically onto your PDF file, asking questions, a question that you might have about a character or a situation, something that kind of comes up. Why is this person doing this? Or a situation, what does the author mean by this? Any kind of question that comes up. Going along the same lines as that is clarify. And it's usually something that you don't understand or you want to know more about, like such as, if you come across a vocabulary word that you don't understand, or something that does not make sense. And usually if you're going to write a clarifying question, you might mean that you need to either look up a word, or you might need to reread a section, look back in that section and reread and see if that might help you to answer the question. Maybe it's something that you missed the first time through. There's no harm, no sin in clarifying rereading. The next thing is maybe make a connection. If you make a connection, something you read, you make a connection to self or to the world as a whole, or even to another text at any point in time. Making connections to those things, seeing connections and putting those down is a nice thing to do while you read. Visualize. Oh, wow, he just painted a wonderful picture, and I can see it, I can smell it, I can hear it, and maybe write down that visualization that you have due to that. And then lastly, commenting on or evaluating particular lines, paragraphs, ideas. And that's your opinion. How do you feel about it? Wow, I really didn't like that word he uses. It makes me feel uncomfortable. It takes me out of what he's saying. Or, wow, that's a really strong simile. It's a very great, that line is extremely detailed and specific, and it helps me to see what he's trying to say. So anything like that is going to help you to engage, and you'll be post-it noting. So now I'm going to show you an example of post-it noting. So here is our PDF, and you can see I've already kind of highlighted. You can come up here up top to the highlighting, and you can click that, and you can highlight anything you want just like that. I'm going to go over here and undo that because I really don't want that, but you can highlight, and you can notice that I've highlighted right here something, flicked the igniter and the house jumped up in a gorging fire that burned the evening sky red and yellow and black. And here I have a little comment, and the way you can do a comment is right up here. Click on that, and then you can go over to a certain passage or click on it. And usually what I do is I highlight first, and then I click on the passage. So I can come over here and I can click on that, and it says comment, evaluate. This is a great line. And even if I put my my cursor on top of it, it'll give me what that is and what's being said. Then I can scroll down a little bit more here, and actually I've embedded it in this line, and I have a question about this line. I said, is he tense? I wonder why the smile won't go away, so I'm asking a question about that. A little further down, I use the word, there's the word waft, and I think, let's see, click on that. Clarify, what does this word mean? I think it means move. Whistling, he let the escalator waft him into the still night air. That might be a word that I want to look up, possibly, so I understand exactly what the author's saying. I go down a little bit further. The autumn leaves blew over the moonlight pavement in such a way. I have a comment here. Click on that. It says connection. I made a connection. I used to live in an area with lots of trees. I had to rake the leaves a lot. So this idea of leaves on the ground, something that I connect to. So as you're reading, what I want you to do is try to come up with several of these, at least 5 every time we read. Connections, questions, clarifications, evaluations, and comments. Any of those 5 that we just talked about. And as I'm reading here, I can look here, I'm reading, there was only the girl walking with him now, her face bright as snow in the moonlight. Oh, I'm going to highlight that. Her face bright as snow in the moonlight, and then I'm going to put a comment on that. Click on it. Oh, look at that. It's highlighted kind of the whole thing, and I'm going to say, I'm going to make a comment evaluate, if I can actually spell, and I'm going to say, oh wow, this is a simile. I think it shows her purity, because it uses the idea of white, and I like that. So I all of a sudden had this great idea. I put it down there, and I can always go back, and I can move this over a little bit so I don't don't miss it. It doesn't cover up the word. So that's what you're going to try to do every time you read. You can utilize these tools up here of commenting and highlighting. Always try to highlight anything that you're going to comment on, although you can highlight more than what you comment on, but it just makes it very easy to find, for you to find or for someone else to find on there. And then once you've done that, you always want to make sure that you save what you're doing every time you read and every time you add something else so that it stays on there. And that is basically that.